Hello. I am the type of person that really wants nice things, but I don't want to spend a lot of money to get those nice things. I can't rationalize it in my head to spend money on a certain thing when I could do it for less if I just did it myself. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I made my own DIY wallpaper accent wall for only $8. Which is insane. Now, I cannot take full credit for this because I did see someone do it on TikTok. Her name is the 𝚌𝚘𝚖𝚎. I will link her TikTok down below so you can see her do it. That is where I got the idea. And I did do mine slightly different, but ironically, I had the exact same paint color already. So she definitely discovered a hack. And I'm so thankful I found that video because I can do it anywhere on any wall now. It's really cool to know. Now, if you have a wall that's already painted, a wall that could be an accent wall that you want to add some flair to, you could make this accent wall, this DIY wallpaper for only $8. But if you don't have a paint color and you have to go out and buy paint and you have to buy like the painting supplies, okay, you're going to spend a little bit more, but it's definitely not going to cost you nearly as much as wallpaper. I got Hunters Club Green, It's totally Sherwin-Williams, huh? A Sherwin-Williams Hunt Club green paint from Lowe's. And I went with a Valspar 2000 interior paint and primer flat paint. 1 gallon. It was $22.98. And I just love the flat look. But depending on the space, depending on the size, depending on how much lighting you have, keep in mind that the paint that you choose is either going to reflect light or it's going to absorb any light that hits it, which might make it feel smaller. For instance, my kitchen is very small and technically I shouldn't go with a flat paint, but I just personally like the way flat paint looks, so I didn't do it properly by choosing a flat paint, but I did. But, you know, just throwing that out there, it does make a really, really big difference if you're trying to make a space feel bigger or smaller. You didn't ask, but I was just saying. The next thing I got was a paint kit. This included 2 rollers, the paint pan, and an edging brush, which was, did I say the price? It was $11. It's a really good deal because if you buy all those things individually, it was actually way more expensive. So yeah, look out for those little bundle packages that they have at Lowe's, Home Depot, or any of your home improvement stores, because I guarantee they have them, or just ask someone, you know, better bang for your buck. We love that. The next thing you're going to need is some gold Sharpies or black Sharpies or white Sharpies, whatever color Sharpie you want, whatever color you want your wallpaper pattern to be. That's what color Sharpie you are going to need to get. So I used 2 gold Sharpies that I got for like $2 something a piece. I'm gonna say it was $5 for both. My wall was 65 inches by 63 inches. I used 2 in total for that amount. The next thing you're going to need is to make your own stencil. It's not as hard as it sounds. It's really easy. I mean, depending on the design, it might be a little more difficult. You might need a lot of paper. I got some watercolor paper from Michael's that cost me $3. I say watercolor because it has a thickness to it, which is great for stencils. And if you also have a box laying around and some box cutters, you can use that too. Just make sure you cut it smoothly so that way your stencil isn't all, you know, wonky when you're drawing it on. Hello. To make my stencil, all I did was trace around a bowl, and then I cut it out carefully as best as I could. I figured it didn't really matter if it was slightly off because I would be making so many on the wall and they would all be the same, so therefore it would all be even in the end. And I made sure to cut a half moon, making it the distance that I wanted the, I guess I'm gonna call it a scallop shape, the distance I wanted the scallop shape to be separated from the other scallop shape. So this is the exact size that you will see on the wall. I hope that makes sense. I feel like that doesn't make sense. You'll just have to see what happens when I do it. And stenciling, the paper doesn't bend in the process and you ruin everything you're doing. Before we continue on, I wanted to introduce today's sponsor, which is Yitahome. Yitahome is a brand that has an array of furniture, from storage organization to outdoor furniture and indoor furniture. Because I am in the process of working on a sci-fi office makeover, which is something you will see coming up, I went with something that could hold all of my art supplies. I have so many and I have very little storage in my apartment. And this piece of furniture furniture was just perfect to fit in that sci-fi realm. A very clean, futuristic spaceship look. This piece of furniture was a lot bigger than I expected to. It came in 2 boxes and I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be really hard to put together. But it was actually a lot easier than I thought because the drawers themselves were actually pop-up. Even though they were metal, they just like popped up and then you would slide them in. Open storage to me is no storage. If you can see it, it's still there. So it was really important to me to have a piece of furniture that was very bright and airy in color and simplicity, but also being able to hold a lot of items that I use on the regular. This item did just that, and it was really the starting point of designing my whole sci-fi office around, because I look at that and I'm trying to figure out like where everything goes and how everything can be arranged surrounding that piece of furniture, if that makes any sense. So I'm really excited to share that video in the future, so stay tuned. If you are interested in checking out Yitahome, I will link their website below in the description box. They have lots of great pieces, and I also have a discount code, which will be down there too. Anyways, thank you so much to Yitahome for sponsoring today's video, and let's continue on with the DIY. I'm going to assume you have scissors. I'm also going to assume you have tape, just in case you want to make a stencil that's bigger than, you know, an 8x10 piece of paper, because I made a much bigger stencil and I just did that by taping multiple pieces of paper together. What else is on this list? Oh, and you'll need a pencil, of course, to draw out your stencil. So this is the design I drew up, and this is what I'm going to be putting on my wall. Obviously, it's a rough sketch, but I recommend you doing the same. Also, highly recommend trying out your stencil many times before putting it on your wall permanently, especially if you don't have the option to paint over it if you mess up. That's what I did, and it definitely helped the process. And my first line of stenciling was the slowest, and then as I continued up the wall, I got faster and better at it, and it was super, super easy. You also need to make sure you measure where the center of the wall is so everything is even. That's probably the most important part. And yeah, because if you don't do that, even if your stencil's messed up and it's all crooked, that would just be awful. So make sure you measure the center part of your wall and start from there. Now, this might seem like a really long, drawn out portion of me putting this on the wall, but I wanted to show some real time and sped up, because when I was looking to do this myself on TikTok, I couldn't find any in real time videos. So I was like, wait, how do I do this? Where does the stencil go exactly? So I thought it was just more clear showing you how I did it like this, just in case you have any questions. Or, you know, it's just easier. I don't know. Hopefully this helps. And I know it's a lot slower seeing it this way, but I find it helpful. So after about 15 minutes of completing the wall, this is what we got, but I did want to work on the other stencils. It's really, really easy to do. I thought it was going to be difficult. I thought it was going to be one of those projects that I set out to do and realize it's so hard, but no, it's actually really easy. I highly, highly recommend doing it this way instead of buying wallpaper that will cost you hundreds of dollars. This is a no-brainer right here. It's the best and easiest DIY I've ever done. Anyways, that being said, I decided since it's so easy, I'm going to create a couple more stencils and go even more above and beyond with this wall and do something a little extra, because this is great, but I don't know what else is going on this wall as of now. So I want to add more of that Art Deco feel, more of those designs that you would see during that era to really make a good Art Deco accent wall. I don't know, so let me show you what I came up with. This is my stencil. I connected 4 pieces of paper together. I'm using watercolor paper, so it does have some structure to it. Luckily, we have paint. If anything gets messed up, I can just paint over it, try again. That's not gonna happen because we're gonna get it right the first time. This is a lot easier than I thought, so therefore I have a lot of faith in this turning out. I'm gonna put this right here. Because I measured out the center of my scallop on this wall, everything is perfectly symmetrical. You know, I'm tracing the same size. So this is literally the same distance from the other side. So I know when I put this up, it's gonna look identical and symmetrical. Wow. I'm just so excited. So we're gonna draw this on the wall and finish up the rest of the design. All I did was trace the big stencil first, and then to create the other shapes within this stencil, I folded the paper. So I just used the same stencil. Of course, depending on what you create, you're gonna have to do it differently. But I did it this way because I was replicating the same thing on each side of the wall. It was way easier to just use the same piece of paper, that way it was symmetrical. By half an inch, because down here it's centered, but as I was adding the stencil, you can tell it goes up to the center of the wall and it's slightly off. I mean, I eyeballed it. What am I gonna do? As OCD as I am, and as much as I care about things being perfectly symmetrical, I am doing it myself. I don't expect perfection, and without those flaws, it would not be art. So I'm okay with it being slightly off. I could care less. I think it looks amazing, and I'm going to continue. I think this looks great. I love it. I think it looks awesome. And once it was all said and done, this is how it ended up turning out. This wall took me about an hour, which was very unexpected. I did end up going back over certain sections of it later with my Sharpie just to make it look more gold. Yeah, that did add like an extra 30 minutes. But the first round of covering the entire wall only took about an hour. It was really quick. So that is it. I hope you give this a try. It's such a good way to spice up. Sorry, I just got like so excited when I said that. It's such a good way to spice up a wall and not have to spend a lot of money doing it, because I really wanted to buy wallpaper, but it was so expensive. Per roll, you would spend up to like $150, which was nuts for a good wallpaper. I'm like, look, I'll just do it myself. And I believe that you can do it too. So hopefully you give this a try. If you do, let me know. Stay tuned for some more DIYs and makeovers. Okay, I'll see you in the next one.